What's up, YouTube? It's King Porter again, back with another review, reaction to a video. Alright, today we got the young brother DDG that's going to say some things that's actually very poignant. Um, they got a lot of people, some up in arms, some understood, of course. Men kind of understand where he's coming from, women not so much. Well, some women actually understand, but we're gonna get right into it and see what he has to say.
If I can tell myself something at age 22, I would tell myself not to get in a relationship because it's damn near like having a part-time job, bro.
Yeah.
You really have to apply a lot of time and effort. Like, you might be doing videos all day and your girl get an attitude when you're doing your last video, like, when you gonna take me out to eat?
Yeah.
When you gonna take me to the movies? When we gonna go on a date? And then it causes relationship problems in your real life that can affect your content. You might get mad, get in an argument. You might not want to film the next day. Might not want to stream the next day. Might not want to go to the studio the next day. Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
So I would tell myself, if I was 22, I would say, bro, just grind it out. Let a relationship happen.
Yeah.
But only happen when you feel comfortable in yourself as a man. Like, it's best for you to be single in these years of your life so you can really grind.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't nobody going nowhere. Bella ain't going nowhere. Where Brooklyn ain't going nowhere. Whatever, you know, whoever you like in this moment. But get your ducks in a row first and grind and not have no restriction. There's real restrictions when you're in a relationship.
Yeah,
It's like
definitely.
you gotta always consider their feelings.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really work how you want to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we see here his brother DDG. He's a YouTuber, first known as a YouTuber. Then he moved into rap. He's a rapper. He's good. I think he's a decent guy. But I just want to talk about some of the things he touched on. Some of the major points he touched on. Overall, getting into a relationship too early in life. Now, this is something that's particularly addressing young men, and I'll tell you why it's particularly addressing young men. Because young men have an obligation to make something of themselves, and that's why he talked about don't get in a relationship too early. I can't say I disagree. At this age I'm at now, I certainly have resolved to myself that I would never advise a young man between the age of 20 and 25 and even up to 30 to even think about a serious relationship. Having made those mistakes myself in my early years, even just trying to complete school was difficult. Now, granted, that was a special case because my girlfriend got pregnant coming from a religious household. You know, what you did was you got married. Not that I didn't want to. I definitely wanted to. But in any case, it was too early. It was too soon. Why was it too soon? Men need time to develop. Men need time to develop in what they are becoming, what they are going to be. That's why he talked about use this time to build, use this time to grind. Well, that's not bad advice. It's very smart, actually. In your younger years, when you have that young energy, when you have that ambition of your early days, your 20s is when you're the most ambitious, you're the most energetic. I remember, I'm a musician by trade. I remember doing 3 gigs sometime back to back, and it was nothing. When I was 21, when I was 22, when I got to be in my mid 30s, it took a little bit more out of me. And now, forget about it. I did a double header 2 weeks ago, and it dang near wiped me out. It's just a different time. When you're in your 20s, when you're in those early years, you can really grind. You can really build, and if you build correctly, you'll be all set up in your 30s. But I wanna capitalize on this and say that and also bring in a topic that nobody wants to really talk about. I don't know when and how in our society, and especially in the black community, this age gap relationships got to be so taboo, or so um what's another word, frowned upon, very frowned upon. Like, they're so willing to call something dirty and nasty when it is actually the norm for how things should go. uh First of all, concerning this, I don't believe any female in her early years, 21 to 30, should be trying to date any male that's her age or in her age group. Age gap relationships needs to be the norm. And I'll tell you why. I'll explain to you why. Um, in the Bible, uh, you saw many times where marrying age for a female was early on. There's no way for a young man the same age as a woman. You have a woman 21 years old. You have another a man 22 or 23 years old. And then he's going to be able to, at 23 years old, just entering in the workforce, he's going to be able to support a woman and then possibly children that come. You see, the thing about manhood is that part of manhood is caring for a woman. It's a responsibility that men take on. And yes, it's true. Uh, to be in a relationship with a woman is hard work. It's a hard responsibility, and you're obligated to do it. Also, in the Bible, let's keep in mind that Abraham, the father of the faith, didn't didn't get a wife for his son, his heir. He didn't send his servant to find a wife for his son until his son was between the ages of 35 and 37. And I guarantee you, he didn't find a woman that was 35 years old. So men require time to grow. Men require time to develop in manhood, both financially and in maturity, and in that sense of ambition and obligation. He has to grow into what will be a provider and a protector. in that growing time between 20 and 35, a man is developing and acquiring, building a life for himself that then he needs to be able to protect. He needs to be able to provide for and protect. And when bringing a female into his world, now he becomes a provider and protector of her also, and their offspring. So definitely, definitely, the brother was not wrong. It is not a good idea for a young man in his young years to 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 strap himself down in a serious relationship or marriage. Now, it's different for women. And in this feminine feminist feminine feminine dredge society that we're in is full of lies. It's full of lies. In this society we in, it's full of nothing but lies. The 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 biggest lie is that men and women are the same. We're not the same. And it's not so for females. Females, when you are young, is the time for you to be securely to be married and secured by a man that is responsible for you and takes care of you. Yes, takes care of you. You all can be in uproar about that all you want to, but every time you turn on social media, these women are talking about wanting to rest in their femininity and this and that. You can't rest if you don't have a protector provider. You can't rest if you have an immature guy your same age next to you saying, I don't know, what about you? He's not ready yet. And I tell this to young females I know. I tell this to my daughter. You should not be looking for any man that's around your same age. Take your age and multiply and go 10 years up at the least. That's right. 10 years at the least. And I would even suggest a bigger age gap. Because then that's a man that's established. That's a man that's developed. And he's grown. He's prepared in life. Did you know that in the Bible, a man couldn't even consider, he couldn't even seriously talk about marriage until he had an established business, profession, or some way that he could show that he was going to be able to provide for a wife. He couldn't even consider marriage. And they couldn't do so below the age of 30. If it's not biblical, I know it's of the custom of those areas. You can't even think about marriage below the age of 30. They laugh at you. But it's different for females. Females need to be married, get married as early as possible. One, because your fertility is not forever. Your fertility has a shelf life. They said by 33, a female's fertility, her eggs begin to die out. So you only have really a 2-year window by the time you're 33. And then 35 is geriatric pregnancy. It's different for men and women. Women need to get married as early as possible to a man that can support her, to a man that can care for her and protect her and provide for her. Now, before I'm done, I just want to bring in a verse of scripture. Of course, on this channel, we bring the scripture to bear on every topic. And the best scripture I could think of was this one in Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 11. There is an occasion for everything. There's a time for every activity under heaven. A time to give birth, time to die, time to plant, uproot. You get the picture. It talks about there's being a time for everything. Ultimately, the gist is be wise when you do certain things. There is a time when it's too early for marriage. There is a time where it's too early for a serious relationship. In the building stage, when you're just trying to develop something, is not the time to be trying to have a relationship. You're here trying to build, and in my early years, my hope was to be active on the world jazz scene and be a traveling musician, really developing, end up recording, and it was never realized. Part of that was because I began a family too early. I was 20 years old when I started a family. It was not the right time. It was not the right season. And because it wasn't the right time or season, I ended up not accomplishing that. I'm sure I'm a musician and I do it locally. I never hit the big stage like I wanted to. It was just too early. So the brother definitely is saying the right thing. People may not like it, but it's the truth. Too much too soon can destroy even the brightest of futures. Till next time, peace.